We'll find out in the last match. Over to you, Jim and Jake. Let's get into it.
Thanks as always, guys. Here for the last series, Hysterics, Jim, Nesso, and I feel like at this rate, the audience is going to take all of Luke's lines. Yeah. Like, didn't even get to intro the game.
When you're so repetitive, I guess it becomes
readable.
Easy to predict.
I was meant to say exactly that. However, this is the last series. Brisbane Deceptors, Sydney Raw. Both of them have not got a win, but Sydney Raw, they took the Chiefs to Game 5 at the very first week, so they have 1 point. They want to go further than that. Game 1 begins now. Brisbane Deceptors, Sydney Raw's in the crowd, and you can hear them. For Cruzzer, Justice Robo, the key matchup to watch. I'll also be watching Change and Slurpee Monster. They're two key ones for me.
And there's a few keen New South Welshmen in the crowd. They want to defend New South Wales honour. And same for Brisbane Deceptors.
It's a breach through. Good defence there from Change, but this might enable them to come up. Cruzzer, back over to Curto. Justice Robo, right in the midfield. How these new players going to handle it. They've been on the field before, but not at a consistent rate in front of net. There's the first shot, but a good demo. Slurpee still coming in. Hits the backboard, sets it up for Curto, but Bullet blocks it away.
And that's a few close calls there. Sydney Raw going to be tested, but are they going to stand up looking for that pass? Couldn't quite make the connection though. And maybe a chance to open the account for Sydney Raw goes begging. But Brisbane Deceptors, what can they build out of this?
Well, they'll be able to get it over. Curto setting himself up off that backboard. Cruzzer, Slurpee. Keep an eye on Slurpee here. He's going to be the third and final member. Key to the play. Drops it down. Bullet, his second save already. And Sydney Raw, they may be going well on the defense, but now they need to switch it into offense. Slurpee just taps it in. And a third and final save. I'll count that. Bullet, I definitely will. Setting itself up again. Hits it down. Cruzzer for the first goal for Brisbane.
And not only was he contending to look for that pass, but he also had Justice Robo hot on his heels that entire time looking for the demolition. And Cruzzer, make no mistake, capitalises entirely for Brisbane Deceptors, and they get the opening goal.
But they're getting shut out. Sydney Raw getting shut out in their own side of the field. We'll see what they can make of this first game. Block there from Slurpee won't happen. This is for Justice Robo. In that goal square, it still stands. Bullets on the wall, and he can't get to the ball. So Justice Robo will have to hang back and some quick rotations, making sure that Brisbane Deceptors won't get any spacing. But Slurpee going for the bump instead. Bullet will jump over and eventually clear the ball away. But Bullet, that's his third save already in this game. What a setup, though. Sydney Raw hit the crossbar. They come close, but at least there's the shot we needed.
And I'm sure he's feeling a little bit shortchanged as the crossbar denies him. We've seen the crossbar play a crucial role in a lot of these matches.
It is there, yeah.
Well, it's a defining feature of the goal, in fact. Either way, Sydney Raw are not going to let that define their half. They're keen to go forward. They're keen to look forward for a goal of their own, and they've been able to piece some nice Rocket League together in previous weeks. We've seen them play really well together. But bringing in Bullet to the mix just adds a little bit of an experienced ghost. Great outlet for them, but just a slightly different player.
Justice Robo and Bullet have worked together before. I've seen a little bit of Bullet, and he's got so much potential in his play. Let's see that aggression come through. 2 minutes 30. Justice Robo, he's hanging back this game. Slurpee will go for the dribble, but Robo, that's a good pass against the wall, enabling himself. Curto, a better read though, as Bullet's just been forced out of position. Shortchanged again is Sydney Raw. 2 minutes 10. Change, is this his play? He passes it instead. What a good decision. And Sydney Raw, those are the mind games you need to play against the Deceptors.
And Change and Robo have been playing so well together so far in the Elite Series. And a nice little combination there, just putting that into the bottom corner. That T-Rex comes out again.
But it was safe. It was a safe play. Brisbane Deceptors saw the shot. Sydney Raw, they thought calm, cool, concise. And here we are. Second shot maybe enabled. Bullet, he's won it over. Here it is again.
Oh no.
2 minutes.
He went into bullet time there, Matrix style.
Unfortunately, I feel like the bullet hit him. 1:45, and that's not the way Neo crumbles. Crunch. Curto was right in front. I was ready to crunch it down. It's there anyway. It's about to say, the ball's going to crunch into the net. It did it.
And just not dealing with that ball at the back, were they? They didn't get it away enough. Straight to the path of Brisbane Deceptors, and they capitalised entirely. Cruzzer's got both goals so far, and he's a key player for them. they've missed him in the weeks that they haven't actually utilised him, because I feel as though he offers a lot of stability to this team in terms of what he offers from the midfield. So,
got to remember as well, the Brisbane Deceptors have been struggling here just because they've been versing some of the top tier teams. Now is the chance. That miss there from Kruzza is taken by Curto. The bounce off the wall. Who's back in defense? No one is, but we're ready to send it in again. Slurpee. And look, crowd's struggling a little bit to keep up because they're like, it's Brisbane. The crowd does not like Brisbane. Not many people do, apparently. But 3-1. And it's only game one, a big lead for the Deceptors.
Really emphasising the Bane in Brisbane.
I mean, look, you know, it's got a lot of sun. It's got a couple of palm trees, and that's about it. Nothing else happens. It all happens here in Sydney in the Gfinity Elite Series. The arena ready to erupt as the solo play from Robo. Bullet, can he get it back down? Two members have committed forward, and Curto could be out of position. Bullet sets it up, and there's the goal. Sydney Raw saw that one coming.
And they've worked so hard to get that goal. And it does eventuate. Bullet, as we said, that 1-2 punch, Bullet and Justice Robo working really well together.
Yep.
And they read that nicely off the backboard, play that pass on point, and they get themselves back to a 3-2 scoreline. So at least in that regard here, it is still a contest. Brisbane Deceptors very much in the lead here still, but if they're not careful, that lead could dissipate.
Well, Justice Robo and Bullet, you mentioned it. Now they're working very well together. Good pass to change. Bullet not going to commit up. He waits patiently, and I think that's the better move for Change. He needs to get it back down the side of the field. That backboard ready to be peppered on, but Change goes up himself. The touch goes wide, and Bullet in Robo, and finally the crosser. What a save there from the Deceptors. Not over yet though, Nesso. There's 30 seconds remaining in Sydney Raw. They've kept it down this side of the field. Robo's been able to recover, and Kruzza with the bounce. Stolen away again. Is the defense going to come through? I don't think so. A pop-up by Bullet, but Curto saves it away. Save your middle. Bullet, pass it back. There it is, ready for change, and the shot's not going to come through. They're still down here. Eventually, surely it goes in. But 5 seconds, was that all she wrote from Sydney Raw? They came close. That's the moment you've been waiting for.
Oh my.
Shot after shot, but Brisbane Deceptors take game one.
And they hold on. Just in the end there. Kruzza, crucial save. Curto, crucial save. And you can see there, 5 shots on goal for Kruzza. He was doing work at the back there at the very end. He dug in when they needed to. Curto doing a great job at the back as well. But the Brisbane Deceptors, they really came out of the gates hot here. And yes, they held on in the end, but that, for me, just shows the potential in the Brisbane Deceptors lineup. They've been shifting things up from week to week, but there's a lot of potential here and a lot of growth.
But that one goal is all it took. And for Curto, oh look, you know, I'm not going to comment on that. For Brisbane Deceptors, I think there's been some, or again, real growth that's been shown here. Like the roster is coming together.
Well, look at this matchup. All-out attack. There was 10 shots on behalf of Sydney Raw. And in terms of what Brisbane Deceptors put together, they put together 13 shots on goal.
But not only that, saves came out. 2 saving medals there, Curto and Bullet. Bullet got 4 saves in that game. So he kept them alive. And, you know, Bullet, he's been around the competitive scene for a little while. Not top tier, but he has been around. For Sydney Raw, this is a good composition of players. Now they just have to play it. And that sounds a little bit, you know, a little bit tacky, a little bit corny. But in game 2, I expect this to be close once again as we move in. Sydney Raw, you're in the crowd. Now's the time to make some noise. Get behind them. And Brisbane Deceptors, they don't have the crowd. So, what's the difference here? The difference is support. A good save there by Curto. That was ready to go in. The bump in net. Bullet has the shot angled up. But Slurpee, he's aware of it.
Sydney Raw too, we know that they've got the ability in them to actually grind out matches, work their way back in the series. We saw them nearly reverse sweep Chiefs in one of their first encounters too. So, the ability is there. The Brisbane Deceptors do need to be aware, but that is a monstrous
monstrous pinch as well. Bullet comes back in to use the speed, but Chain comes in. Again, another pinch and just bounces back down. Brisbane Deceptors on the defense, but Sydney Raw have given them time to breathe. Curto with the pass to Kruzza. Back to Curto. The 4-man pass. They bring it in again, and we'll hit that crossbar. Back all the way. Brisbane Deceptors slowing the pace down, but it's working for them.
Just passing that ball on the ground as well, Brisbane Deceptors really trying to work those 1-2 combinations. But that could have been a dangerous touch if didn't go the right way. Thankfully, he dealt with it quite well here. But Brisbane Deceptors just trying to use that backboard, trying to get that passing play going. And Crossley here just tries to maintain pressure on the defense. He couldn't do it. And now they actually transition here into counter-attack. If they're not careful, Change will make his mark on this competition once again.
Set up so nicely there by Sydney Raw. And I tell you what, that's the start they wanted here in game 2. Finally, Sydney Raw can use this lead. But in game number 2, nothing is certain. It's just like the last series. As the ball jumps in front again, Slurpee doesn't beat it out. The pass comes into fruition as Crusher unintentionally sets it up, but everyone's committed forward. It'll just be Curto here from around the corner, all the way back to Change.
Just looking to deal with that ball as it comes. Slurpee Monster just looking to link up with Crusher here. Couldn't quite get that combination going. Curto should clear this one away, but it is actually blocked by Justice Robo as they come in and try and just smother that ball as they just look to pass that ball out defensively. We've seen some teams do it much
Great
better
touch.
than others.
That was a fantastic touch from Change. Keeps it down here. Bullet and Justice Robo hugging the corner and Change waiting back. Now we want to see those rotations, but Curto's just set it up for Crusher. Nicely done. Bullet with the intercept. Cleaning house. Bullet with the pass again. For Robo, can he dribble it forward? He cannot.
And that's what you don't want in the back either. If you're passing that ball out, you don't want those little lollipop passes that just seem to pop up because they're contested passes. Curto, though, has a chance. Does go wide, but they're going to try and work this one out here, Sydney Raw.
Still, no answer yet from the Deceptors. Curto, no pass. Robo there for the intercept and head-to-head on these 50s. Starting to win them over, more so than not. For Sydney Raw, right in that goal square. Change is hopping up. Crusher going to get there first. Hits it against the back wall, and Robo now to Bullet. No one's there. They're just going to waste some time while they recover boost and try and fend off Brisbane Deceptors. Change, not the most ideal touch as Slurpee comes back in, hits the corner. Curto going to peek up as well. But immediately 2 minutes left remaining. 1 goal is not a secure enough lead for Sydney Raw.
I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Anything can happen here, and Justice Robo will bat that one away for the moment. But Curto just looking to keep that ball in play. Bullet, Justice Robo, that 1-2 punch, passing out from the back, but you don't want a ball that's square like that because that leaves it open to be intercepted. Slurpee Monster very nearly got the jump on his opposition, but Brisbane Deceptors, minute 38, they are behind in this matchup. They played so well in the first. Can they continue it here? But if Sydney Raw can have a goal...
What a save away. That was Crusher there who hits it up. Bullet back in and really, really shaky passes coming in Brisbane Deceptors defense. The ball will miss and Crusher and Curto will get time to push it back up. But a minute 20 remaining and Curto, he commits forward. Crusher as well. Slurpee has to hang back. Almost beaten out. Changes back to the ball and still putting on the pressure, but no goal. Crusher, can he do the impossible? He pops it over. He sets it up for Slurpee. That's an open net for Curto.
And that is a nice little dribble out there. A nice bit of relief here for Brisbane Deceptors. Effort goes rewarded here. Slurpee Monster just making sure that no defender was going to get a touch on that. Curto in the right place after the pass. And it's a good goal for Brisbane Deceptors. Sets up a nice last minute of play.
1 minute, that's it. For Sydney Raw, things have been looking a lot better. Change runs into the enemy team and a quick demolition on Crusher. What does it mean? Justice almost stealing it away, but Bullet is still going to get the time he needs from the corner. This is done nicely. 50 seconds remaining. Robo again has his chance. For Sydney Raw, they're right in front of that goal square, but they're not going to commit forward. Playing it safer than usual. Crusher launches it. Bullet's there. A quick standstill as Crusher's back in position. The backboard not defended, but a save there from Change. That could have kept the dreams alive.
Great save there from Change, and that was the difference. I mean, that could have been a decisive end to this match, but there's still a lot left to be played here. That ball in the right area, they don't get a touch on it though.
It's not over yet. Change has kept it down here. 15 seconds left remaining. Crusher finally brings possession back to Brisbane Deceptors, launches it down the other side of the field, and in front of net. You cannot make a mistake there. Sydney Raw. What happened?
Well, just some missed balls there, unfortunately. Didn't hit those balls off the backboard. Didn't clear that ball properly, and they were punished for it. 6 seconds left. I don't know if there's a lot that they can do here, but I've seen stranger things, Jake.
Well, at the moment I haven't. Brisbane Deceptors have run away with game 2. They'll secure it. And Sydney Raw, they're in a lot of trouble here. Sydney Raw took 1 point off the Chiefs for taking it to Game 5. But against the Deceptors, they do not look in fine form here today. Had some good moments, but consistency is key, as they say. So Game 2, Brisbane Deceptors will take it.
The Brisbane Deceptors will certainly be happy with their effort as well. There was a lot of niggle in that game early on in the piece. Both these two teams really jostling to see, I guess, who was the more supreme team in terms of passing. We saw some great passes there from Brisbane Deceptors. We know that, I guess, Sydney Raw in the past have been capable of better. There was a lot of creation going forward, actually. Curto going forward, 5 shots on goal. Also, Cruzzer in the mix again. Key player for Brisbane Deceptors, getting another 4 shots as well. So, from Sydney Raw's side of things, it was good to see change going forward a little bit more and putting pressure on goals, but there just wasn't enough creation there in the end.
But still, a good win there for Brisbane Deceptors as we throw it to a break to see if it can come back for game number 3.
Hi everyone and welcome back to the Gfinity Elite Series. We are so excited. We're 2 games into our Rocket League match between Sydney Raw and Brisbane Deceptors. It's been very exciting, and I'm here with two fans watching the game. So you guys, I've heard, have been making your own tips to who you think is going to win today. So for the 3 games, who did you choose?
So I chose for the first game Chiefs because they're normally like the pros.
And who do you think is going to win today?
Today, well, in my actual guesses, Chiefs actually won my whole guesses because Melbourne Order lost the second match. So, and then on the third round, Sydney Raw just can't keep up.
All right, well, we'll see. Who knows? They might be able to bring it back. What about you, Matilda? So I know that you went for Chiefs. They won. Then Perth Ground Zero, they've won. Who's your pick for this third match?
I've been going for Sydney Raw.
Do you think they can come back? Brisbane's got 2 under their belt already. Are they going to have that third one, or is Raw going to come back swinging?
I reckon they could come back, but I don't know.
All right, well, that's good. We've got some confidence over here, so I guess we'll find out with Game 3. Let's go straight back to our casters.
Hey, thanks very much, Ash. And I got to say, confident yet honest from our young spectators there. But it's good to see, this is the beauty of Rocket League, that anyone can play. No one's getting hurt, except cars. But
I don't know.
Luke
had a near miss on the desk before.
Yeah, no, he did. But look, I'm going to take us back anyway because, your shirt's unappealing.
No, that was the first week, the banana shirt.
That's all I can think about, though. Hey, guys, let's jump into Game 3. Can Sydney Raw make it back? We're going to find out. They can hear the support. Justice Robo. He has been the one to focus on. Cruzzer leading the charge. Intercept. Oh. That's what you want. 4 seconds in. Sydney Raw. Great start from Bullet, but the intercept there for Change committing up.
And Change, he was the one they were looking for. And he capitalises completely on just the defense that was only getting settled into this match. 4 seconds played. And that's how fast Rocket League happens.
Yeah.
Life just happens. Rocket League happens.
I think revelation coming through here.
Yeah, we're going deeper with our colour commentary. I know someone actually misread the memo. That's how I ended up with this shirt. Colour commentary isn't what I think it is.
No, well, you've learned. These are big miss. I'm not sure what's going on with Sydney Raw after that. They just let the ball swing through, but it's okay. As life happens fast, but Bullet, now he's ready to play it faster. Defense there. Last resort from Curto. Justice Robo have to play it back now for Cruzzer and Curto, trying to move up the field. But again, Justice Robo gets it over. Sydney Raw, this is the fast start we wanted to see.
Out of the gates, they have come with purpose, intent, and...
Intent's a good one, man.
In the first 2 games, they were a dull Raw.
And now what?
Well, they're back on par. They're Sydney Raw.
Right.
Hopefully, they don't go the way of the first 2 games and get beaten Red Raw.
Well, I don't think so. Look at this. Bullet. What a strange touch. I feel like Robo was fine, but that's okay. Helping out the team. 2-0 is the start. For Brisbane Deceptors, the pass set is good. Very fast play. There's 2 supporters in the crowd for Brisbane Deceptors. And that got them going.
And the crowd has gone absolutely mild for this as Brisbane Deceptors get their way back into this match.
Oh, it's hard working with you sometimes, Mr. Gymnast.
I make it so difficult.
You make it so difficult. Sometimes you walk in with a shirt that looks like you fell over Da Vinci's pallet.
Wait until next week.
2-1. It can't get better than this. Or maybe it can. Sydney Raw can take a game here. Bullet. That was the shot. Brisbane Deceptors holding on again. Only 1 goal disadvantage as Cruzzer takes the ball himself. Individual play seems to be the way to go, but Justice Robo, the pass, centre field. Bullet will take it off the wall. Ready to dribble down. Bullet has full boost here. Curto gets through. With a change, it's in perfect position. Bullet hasn't come back up in the rotation that we needed to see. Back again, change the drop down, but Slurpee with an easy defense.
Just there to push it away, and they need to deal with it here, Brisbane Deceptors. And just that ball attempting to be locked in from the midfield here. Sydney Raw, they've gone forward twice already. They can put another goal on the board. It means they're a little bit more comfortable in this matchup. But Brisbane Deceptors have shown that they're not going to keel over so easily as Justice Robo just looks to get that off the backboard. Curto, what can he build here? What can he start?
Well, it's a good pass over to Cruzzer, but intercepted by Bullet. Again, the aggression over the top.
Ooh.
Yeah, baby. Sydney Raw. Finally, I said this in the Melbourne Order matchup. I'll say it in the Sydney Raw matchup. Finally, Sydney Raw, they switch on. Now they need to hold this.
Well, they've shown their ability to come back in matchups before. So for them, this is in unfamiliar territory. This is for something, I guess, that they've been building towards. But Brisbane Deceptors are not going to be deterred by this. They know they've been putting together some good passing play. Kruzza has been instrumental in every single one of those plays so far. Kurto doing some great work at the back. But it's the experience of Slurpee Monster that ties that package so nicely together.
Yep.
And I know their, I guess, logo is an octopus. But unlike calamari, they're drinking it through.
Well, you're worth your weight in gold, Jim Nesso. Another one breaks through. Enough time to recover. Now, Sydney Raw, they haven't had a lead like this in a while. So things are looking up. 2 minutes 30, Brisbane Deceptors. Maybe game 3 doesn't go their way. This is a maybe. We've got plenty of time left remaining.
That is plenty of Rocket League to be played as well. And almost a really direct approach here, actually, from Brisbane Deceptors.
Well, I said maybe. The pass is up to Kurto again. It's not going to be in front of net, Jim Nesso. This is a time that Brisbane Deceptors need to hold strong, but a couple of misses here and there. Kruzza up for the ball, but Bullet being great on the defense here for Sydney Raw. Now breaking through. Can Kruzza get another touch? He can't. And 2 minutes remaining. Sydney Raw, they just bring it back down. Still 3-goal lead and much better play coming out from them. I think this is a big change.
Certainly is. Speaking of which, doesn't quite get that pass away. The Bullet just tries to put that one into the middle. Couldn't get the touch that he needed there. And Brisbane Deceptors have a chance here, but it goes a little bit wide for Kurto as that ball now gets pushed away here. Counter-attack. Ooh, can they keep that ball in?
I think they might be able to. Slurpee hasn't got the clear. Bullet just gets rammed by change. And boy, oh boy, it's not over just yet for Slurpee. Dribbling the ball onto that back wall. There's the perfect centre up for Kruzza, but Robo hits it against the wall, clears it away. The crowd can breathe a fresh bit of air while they wait and see if Sydney Raw can hold off 3 goals for Bullet. That's not good. Kurto just locks it in.
Right place, right time. Great read on that one too. That is not an easy shot to make either in the sense that you've actually got to rise and hit that ball at the right time, just popping it into the net. And Sydney Raw, they'll be a little bit disappointed with how that went down. They just didn't clear it into the right area. Kurto just right in front of that one.
Still 2 goals though for Sydney Raw. Like I said, they just need to hold on in this game 3. Kruzza launches it nicely in the midfield, but Justice Robo gets there. Slurpee in not a good position. The dunk down. Finally, Kruzza just lets it in. He says, take it, it's yours.
Couldn't do a lot with that one. It's a very difficult ball to deal with defensively as well. So, yeah, just off the top of that octane into the back of the net. And I mean, for Brisbane Deceptors, this game will reset them a little bit because they were maybe a little bit too comfortable in the first 2 matches. Sydney Raw have just reminded them that they are capable of bringing this back. They have brought back deficits before, taking it to a game 5. And they're certainly going to need to if they want to win this series.
I don't think it's about comfortability. I think Sydney Raw finally getting these passes off, and Justice Robo is being enabled across the pitch. 40 seconds remaining, a 3-goal lead. And that should do it. Right now for Bullet, setting up what could be the last play. Time's run out for Brisbane Deceptors. And not being able to get through the defense. These weird, wacky passes. Passing back against Sydney Raw is just not going to cut it. Now we go to game 4. Now finally, Sydney Raw have a game on the board. And this is where it begins here, ladies and gentlemen. The series, it truly starts now.
It will start somewhere. And can Sydney Raw now fight their way back into match number 4? Game 3 was very much the way of Sydney Raw in terms of passing play. Got the crowd behind them. They put in a much better concerted effort. The passing play was there. The creation going forward was fantastic. Bullet, really, really key for them in this matchup, getting 5 shots on goal.
But he's been key in every single matchup there. Sydney Raw have been relying on Bullet here. And for his first day on the stage, I think Bullet's having a great performance. Game 3 showed that. Now finally for Sydney Raw, they can enable him more alongside Justice Robo.
Well, yeah, you can just see the understanding between those 2 players. Justice Robo and Bullet, they know each other quite well. They played together for quite some time in that pairing. They've just been looking for that third wheel in what has been Sydney Raw here. I mean, Change is by no means a third wheel. He's not just there for the free meal. He's there for the...
I feel like you've been
for the team.
I feel like you've been a third wheel a couple of times. You know, I've never indulged. But
take control of the wheel here, Jake. It's spinning out of control.
It is. But Mr. Octopus there, Kruzza, that was an interesting one. However, Brisbane Deceptors, this is the time you start feeling pressured. Reverse sweep, it begins. Sydney Raw getting that one game, however, it is not enough. Now we go into game 4. Now it's about doing it again. That was a high-scoring game, but I have the feeling that the next one might not be.
Yeah, look, I think Sydney Raw are definitely inflated with confidence now.
You'd hope so.
I'd hope so, but Brisbane Deceptors are going to try and look to lock things down a little bit. They were a little bit too loose in the way they played. You could see that they were even running over the top of each other. Comms weren't quite there in the end. They were going up for the same balls. They were in the same areas of the field. And for fluid passing, that doesn't really work too well. So just a little bit flustered by the fact that Sydney Raw got themselves back into that match quite convincingly. Can they turn it back around here and end it in match number 4?
We will find out. For Sydney Raw, one game is not enough, but it begins. And already on the defense, enough room to breathe will enable Slurpee Monster to nail down those shots. Change, staying back on the defense. Justice Robo's actually come up and Change will be the third member. Kruzza, a really essential touch. No one's in net. Slurpee says, thank you, league. And that'll be the first.
Great counter-attacking play there as well. Composure in the counter-attack by Slurpee. You can see a lot of players, when they get that ball, they go for something a little bit fancy. He just went for straight back of the net. He wanted the result. And that is a good start for Brisbane Deceptors. But Sydney Raw, they've worked themselves into matchups. As we saw earlier, they need to do it again here. They need to get that passing play going. We need Justice Robo and Bullet to get that link up going once again. Their passing play was fantastic in the last match. It's going to be needed here.
And finally, Justice Robo gets the ball out of the side of Sydney Raw, and that's what was crucial. Change pushing the ball back up, giving time to Sydney Raw. That's exactly what they need. Bullet up for the ball, but Curto gets the push through. Robo will play defensively here as he tries to get away from Slurpee Monster. Chrysler waiting back in the wing, but demolition onto Curto. Can Sydney Raw just get it out? Yes, they can. But Slurpee's all the way back in. A weird bump that works out for Brisbane Deceptors. But now for the Raw, Bullet into Kruzza. Change hanging around by the right wing. Going to play it slow. Slurpee beats it out and sets it up for Curto. This is not a good start for Sydney Raw.
There's been a few weird bumps like that that have really just taken the venom out of the attack, haven't they?
Robo. This is an interesting start. A good touch from Bullet. They just need to silence it. They do. Jim Nesso, let's take that back. That came off the back of Justice Robo beating out 2 players from Deceptors.
Yeah, and he really set his team up nicely there. I mean, the demolition was probably of little consequence anyway, because that ball was so well placed in the back of the net. Bottom left corner, didn't make a mistake there, Change, and he's very, very clinical this week. I dare say this is probably the best we've seen from Change too.
But what a touch there from Bullet as well, coming into this game. And if Sydney Raw can take this out, I think Bullet will be a key member to talk about. But Robo in a good position on that backboard. Bullet's there, backboard again. Third touch, Crosser denies, and now the breakaway. Slurpee sending it down the hill. But Justice Robo was there to catch it. No marathon right now, it's a sprint for Sydney Raw.
Justice Robo, just like he has so many times before, good understanding of this game defensively, and that direct push just forces Curto into a save, but it maintains pressure here for Sydney Raw. Can they build it into something? Can they get those passes going? Kruzza, been an incredible outlet, and that pinch actually pushes the ball in the right path for him. He can't capitalise on it, but Sydney Raw, can they take this counter-attack in as Curto just pushes that away? Just breaking down here now for Sydney Raw. Can they get a second touch? Good infield pass, but no one was waiting for it. Maybe a little bit heavy actually in retrospect, but Sydney Raw now, they've got numbers back in defence.
Demo comes out onto Curto. This will open things up again. Justice Robo goes for the solo play. The team comes to the secondary and Bullet waiting back. 2 minutes 15 is Bullet waiting in front of this net, sets it around the corner for Robo to change again. They've gotten it past 2 defenders. Curto's last. They keep it there. It's going to bounce that back in the goal square. Everyone's missed it. And Kruzza, the last member to keep it alive, will send it down to Curto. Curto has the angle, but he goes wide. For Slurpee, the last blocked again.
I mean, you can't go missing like that. Next thing you know, your picture's appearing on a milk carton. But in terms of what Brisbane Deceptors need to do here, They need to be a little bit more decisive in those key moments. They were great at creating so many opportunities. Kruzza, when he gets some speed on that ball, he's so venomous in front of goals.
Oh, he's done it!
Counter-attack.
He's done it! What a defensive pass! Watch this one again, folks. Such a risky pass all the way through to change. And Brisbane Deceptors, they were on the attack. Everyone was up. And Sydney Roar, with a light touch, they lure Brisbane Deceptors in, and Sydney Roar take the lead.
And that, for them, is finally...
Oh, good defense there from Justice Robo. That's saviour medal there, Jim Nesso. A minute 20 around the midfield. Now they wait. Brisbane Deceptors. No boost there for Curto. Enables change to come in. Set it up around the corner. It's a direct hit if they want to use it. I'm even losing my voice. It's going to come through again. But Curto with a great defense. I feel like I'm 17 again, Luke.
Oh, to be 17 again. Several times, in fact, if you're Luke.
Oh, this is not good. Curto just being set the ball. And Brisbane Deceptors have equalised again, folks. The danger, it resumes.
Oh, yeah. Brisbane Deceptors every step of the way reminding Sydney Roar that they were there just when we thought Sydney Roar got the break that they were looking for. They come back, firing hard. Brisbane Deceptors, the octopus. It's a very menacing shadow it casts, let me tell you that.
That ball's good for Brisbane Deceptors as well. 45 seconds. They're staying on the attack. Bullet, the solo play. He's ready to send it down off that wall. Kruzza, first to it though, as Robo on the wall again. Slurpee launches it down. Good clears coming out of Brisbane Deceptors, but an intercept from Bullet brings it back down. Slurpee very good at the one-on-ones, but change comes in. Bullet not in position. He could have reversed into it, but Robo's back in. Recovering the play. Good position again. Curto from the wall. 15 seconds remaining. Change now. Pinching towards Kruzza. It's not a clear. Enables Bullet off that backboard. Kruzza will clear it up. Curto's trying to do it. But are we going into overtime, or can they finish it out? Brisbane Deceptors, they're counting down the clock. But now the last shot. It will be dunked down for overtime.
And Brisbane Deceptors have the chance here to wrap things up. If they can get that goal, Sydney Roar more than ever need that crowd support as they've looked so good in this game, but both sides have had chances.
Oh, Kruzza! A good block by Change. The crowd is exploding. They cannot take this pressure. Robo loses it over at Bullet, keeping the defense alive. Sydney Roar now setting up for the play upfield. Bullet's there, but Kruzza intercepts. Robo, it's up to him. And he gets it out. Someone said big clear. I agree. Slurpee almost. Curto's lost the ball, and Kruzza the last defender.
And there's a lot left to play here for Brisbane Deceptors, but that open net could have been capitalised on there. Great defensive pressure.
Still can. Jim Nesso, it still can. Bullet set it up nicely. Sydney are close. One last player. Robo hasn't commit back into the ball. And Brisbane Deceptors, they now have the runaway. The pass down as we're almost a minute into overtime. Robo enabling it upfield. Bullet, Robo, they win it over.
Oh, Curto missed the dependable in defence. Saves it once again there, but Justice Robo has been just as amazing in defence for Sydney Roar, but can they get this attacking play going?
Oh, Bullet being very risky. A great clear from Robo. Changes up for it. On the side, Robo brings it around the corner. It'll hit back down. A pinch away. Their life depends on it. A good demo into Slurpee. But can Roar get back down? The touch on the backboard again. Slurpee to middle. They've dunked it. Dunked down. See you later. Brisbane Deceptors. We're in the game 5.
We're in the game 5, and I tell you what, Sydney Roar, hearts in mouths. The crowd was here from the start to the finish, and they needed every ounce of energy for that one.
Boy, oh boy. Reverse sweep we begin, and the child's back again to cheer. I tell you what, Sydney today putting on a performance. 3-2. How did we get here?
Oh, my goodness. Justice Robo, so many times in defence, has saved Sydney Roar from just that threat that is Kruzza.
Just.
But Curto on the opposite side as well, putting in a shift defensively too. So a lot of key moments for both these two teams in terms of defence, but it was going forward that the real difference was made because Sydney Roar were creating a lot of chances as opposed to Brisbane Deceptors, a little bit quiet in that regard. But Both teams had chances to win it.
But they get the breakaway. The issue is that Brisbane Deceptors, they get through the defensive line like this, and they get those openings into a goal. So Sydney Roar have to be careful. But this overtime goal, let me just tell you, this moment here, they keep hitting the backboard. They eventually peppered it, let it down, and this man will be famous one day, I can tell you.
Oh, yeah.
1 minute 13 to overtime. Now we're on to game 5. Sydney Roar have clawed their way back from 2-0 down. The reverse sweep, it's there. They just need to take it.
Well, I mean, they've been here before. They were on the precipice of doing it against Chiefs in the early stages of the Gfinity Elite Series.
They were.
And more than ever, they actually need it now this week because, as they said, if they win here and they take down Avant, really good chance for finals.
But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, game 5. They know who they're cheering for, but to you at home, Slurpee had the first shot. Even a demolition onto Bullet. Look at the aggression from Brisbane Deceptors to kick things off.
A signal of intent, that's for sure. They want to make amends for the fact that the last 2 games haven't gone their way, despite them playing so well in each of those contests. They just faded away a little bit at the end. And Brisbane Deceptors just pushing that ball around, just trying to make that play out pass defensively. And here's the maintenance of pressure from Sydney Roar.
This is pretty good though, because they've been able to starve out Brisbane Deceptors just that little bit. 3 members crouched in a corner. Finally the clear from Brisbane. Curto will come in off the wall. Justice Robo will clear it. And these big clears from Robo have been enabling Sydney Roar. Bullet the second touch. The shot goes high. Cruzzer off the backboard. Changes back in. 3 defenders though, but some good shot. Some good pressure, from Sydney Roar.
They need to maintain that though. That's the key. They need to put that
they
in the back of the net.
A good block again. Justice Robo from the corner. What can he do with it? The third member is Bullet. Sorry, it is change. He's kept back and they've been defending. For Sydney Roar, playing from the midfield now, but Bullet, that's not a good touch. Robo has to get up for it as well. A good passing forward. It turns into a play. Bullet centered it, but Slurpee quick to the chase. Has changed from the backboard. Now it goes again. Curto there. Interrupted by Slurpee. Change comes forward. No one's in net. We need to get it through, they say. But they just can't. Sydney Roar come close again.
Sydney Roar just missing that third link in the chain. They looked several times there to get those passing plays going, but there was no third person in on the ball. So in terms of Sydney Roar, they're going forward, they're creating, they're confident, but it hasn't yielded a result just yet. Brisbane Deceptors just need to take a moment, make sure that they can deal with this defensively, regain some of that boost that they've been starved of, and get this ball downfield.
But Slurpee doesn't get a big clear, enabled by Curto, so it works out well for Brisbane Deceptors. 3 minutes left in game number 5. Bullet, Robo's in position, change hanging back. They do not want to take the big risk. For Slurpee, he's not really in position, but a good pass to Curto. First shot there, and Brisbane Deceptors, they kick off game 5.
And they break the deadlock here too. And a great piece of play here. Curto just recognising that open net. He puts it well beyond any defender. And they find that opening goal that they've been searching for. Admittedly, maybe against the run of play too, because Sydney Roar have been going forward, maintaining a lot of pressure here. It's gone unrewarded thus far.
I think one big play from Brisbane Deceptors is all it took, but the backboard getting peppered by Sydney Roar. Change again, sets it up nicely, but no one's in defense but Justice Robo. He's been demoed as well. A good head in by Crosser. Brisbane Deceptors are pulling out all stops.
That they are, and I mean, there was no one here to check him at all. Slurpee Monster just clearing that defense, and a demolition was key in all of that coming together. And Cruzzer, he had an easy path through once his attacking line did all the dirty work for him.
Been a good effort by Sydney Roar, but it's not over just yet. Off the kickoff, you got to be kidding. Robo, a great save to keep them alive. Win that clear as well. Can Sydney Roar make anything of it? Cruzzer with the first touch. Change coming in as well. It'll bounce off the roof. Bullets there, and now it's just up to Robo. Cruzzer with the pass forward. Slurpee not going to commit. He'll dribble it and change. He'll enable the clear. There's the shot. It's going in. But it's ain't no. Justice Robo again.
That's such a difficult save to make as well. Justice Robo. Long range goals here. How much counter-attack can teams take?
That wasn't going in. That was going to the side. Cruzzer touched it, and it went in. Brisbane Deceptors 2-1 now, and that's not a comfortable lead anymore. 2 minutes remaining. Bullet up for the ball. They push forward. Slurpee Monster from the corner. He gets demoed, but the setup's already there. 2 minutes remaining. Gymnesto on the edge of our seats. for Sydney Raw. Can they do it? The backboard for Robo. The touch change is already back. Enables Slurpee to get the heck out of the way. Limited time remaining.
Brisbane Deceptors just trying to lock their opposition in here in the midfield. Strangle them, take all the venom out of their attack. Take all that boost out of their tanks as well. But Sydney Raw are going to try and maintain pressure of their own here as they look to link up. Passing play.
Bullet needs to get back in. Kurto's in good position. He's unable to pinch it for a centre. Cruzzer, here he is. As Change passes up the field. Bullet as well, over the top. Can't do it. A great save by Kurto, but it's not over yet. Robo from the corner. The angle is precious. But it is precious. Change from the side. Bullet as well, but a good touch by Slurpee Monster. Brisbane Deceptors getting themselves closer and closer. Ready in front of the net. But a minute remaining. Can Sydney Raw do it? Slurpee's not facing the right well. Well, no, they're not well. They're not facing the right way. 50 seconds remaining.
Wellity. They need to get that goal, and quickly here, Sydney Raw. 45 seconds remain, but they need to get that ball going out of their own defensive half first, and that touch is actually just holding that ball up in midfield, and they don't need that right now. They need to go forward.
But the demo, Bullet comes close. Robo finishes it off. Wow indeed, Jim Nesto. Sydney Raw from the brink of despair. Look at that. Robo, we said it'd be about him, and he comes to finish it off. 2 apiece. Game 5 overtime, or does it end here by one team?
On the brink of destruction, and ultimately it was a demolition. It actually set them up nicely in that regard. But Brisbane Deceptors, can they sneak one past here? Brisbane have looked dangerous this entire match, but Sydney Raw have really had to grind this one out. This is the game 5 we wanted, and I think this is a game 5 we deserve too.
Slurpee gets the clear. It's now ready for Cruzzer. On the back is Kurto. Someone's left him unchecked. Change in defense. 5 seconds remaining. Change needs to get it the heck out of there. Cruzzer comes in from the corner. It's going to head down. Golden goal, ladies and gentlemen. Game 5. It's overtime, baby.
First to score will take it here. There is no second place in this regard.
Oh no! Bullet waiting for the ball. Crosses in net. The centre's there. Bullet comes close. Change is still here as well. Robo hanging back. This is going to be the perfect touch for him. It hits the wall, goes towards net. Slurpee with a roll, but it's not good enough. Bullet! What a save there by Cruzzer, but Robo comes back in.
And you know Cruzzer had no boost there as well. They were stuck in their own half for so long. So that's a desperation save there, but keep Brisbane Deceptors in the mix here, and they need to absorb this pressure because it's coming in thick and fast.
40 seconds into overtime. It's in the goal square, and suddenly it isn't. Slurpee Monster hanging back, no one taking risk, but a demolition's there. Kurto, the last defender, the pass, the bullet goes high. Just as Robo comes back in, someone needs to nail it in. Bullets there from the wall again and again. Sydney Raw having shots. Brings it back to the goal square. Bullet's not committing up there. Again, not taking those risks. Slurpee Monster, an ingenious pass. Gets the clear for Brisbane Deceptors. They get close again. But Sydney Raw back down the favourable side of the field. Justice Robo. He can't get to the ball.
Kurto's putting in such a shift at the back as well. He's been so instrumental for Brisbane Deceptors in keeping that goal line cleared.
Oh my God, Robo! He's just done it! He's set it up! It goes in, Bullet!
Wow, the reverse.
Sydney Raw, reverse sweep Brisbane Deceptors with style, with class, and Bullet, like the name suggests, will put the final one in to get them the 3-2.
That was the match that we were thinking could go either way at any point in time. Brisbane Deceptors, hold your heads high. Your development from start to finish of this has been excellent. Bullet, 10 shots. Absolutely incredible. And I think they were posing for a fight like that. And
as you should. Sydney Raw. Bow your heads. What a performance by the Sydney Siders there. For Brisbane Deceptors, you would be absolutely heartbroken. You came so close in so many points of that game, that series even. Game 5 overtime, and Sydney Raw, they triumph.
Full credit though to Brisbane Deceptors.
Yes.
They have been a team that have made a lot of changes. They've been a development squad in the sense that they've made the changes each week. depending on how they think they match up tactically. And you can see each of these players have grown from strength to strength week on week. So in that regard, we were given a fantastic match because Sydney Raw have also trekked that same path. They've also had to make developments in their own personal games.
Yeah.
And playing on that stage isn't easy. Playing in front of this crowd is incredible. And all the players rose to the occasion.
The crowd was supporting Sydney Raw, and for good reason in the end. However, we are going to throw it back to Luke for that final analysis of the last game.
A huge final match there. Sydney Raw, too good for Brisbane Deceptors. How about a round of applause for both teams for crushing it? It's what we're here at the Gfinity Elite Series 4. Huge final match, Yummy.
I was nervous as they were. That was so tense, and to make a reverse sweep into a Game 5 overtime shows the level of mettle that Sydney Raw had. I can't believe they were able to hold out.
It was a tense final match. Right now, Ash is hanging out with the winning captain. He must be feeling pretty relieved right now, hey Ash?
What an incredible game to watch. It's your first win in Rocket League. That's got to feel amazing. What a fantastic match we just saw.
Yeah, it was very, very hype at the end there. Like, after the first 2 games, once Bullet kind of sorted out his nerves and everything like that, he performed as expected, and yeah, we really dominated after that.
Were you worried at all, thinking, okay, they're 2-0, we've got to catch up, we've got to get these 2? Were you panicking? Were the nerves quite high?
Yeah, they were after the second game, but once we got that third game, kind of brought us back to when we took it to Chiefs, and we're just trying to convert those last goals and yeah, get it back.
So what about that last bit of overtime? I think James was saying he could hear his heart beating through his headpiece. What about yourself?
Yeah, it was I definitely had like shaky hands, like had the Cyrix shakes on, but yeah, no, it was very good, yeah.
So next week's match is very, very important because if you win that, that means you get the chance to play in the playoffs. How are you going to prepare for that?
Just a lot of practice, really. Go through our replays. After we do that, like, we'll see where we are. Maybe go through some of advanced replays and yeah.
Fantastic. Well, best of luck. Amazing to watch, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, too easy. You too.
Back to you, Luke Matron.
Congratulations again to Sydney Raw and Justice Robo. A huge performance there. Coming back strong at the end. Let's get into analysis right now, Yummy. Let's start. So, it was pretty even first on.
Oh yeah, and I think as Justice Robo pointed out, Bullet was really struggling at the start. He was really nervous.
Yeah.
He slowly improved over the series, but right at the start, it was all about Kruzza.
Yeah.
Made a few mistakes, but made up for it time and time again. And Justice Robo was important for the attack of Sydney Raw. He did a lot here. Some mistakes, as we saw. This was nerves. You know, and this
Nerves
was
from both
like,
teams early on.
This was the close match. This was like the do or die match for these teams.
Yeah.
Slurpee Monster, he played nice and fast, and that was really important here for Brisbane Deceptors because both the teams sort of took some time to warm up to get up to speed. And in game 1, you sort of don't. What's it, game 2? One of them, you don't really see it a lot, but they got 4 or 5 saves in that first game. First game to hold on, and that was almost what took Deceptors over the line. And again, close series. Kruzza with 6 seconds left
right on
to
the
go,
line there,
holding on to his nerve, and that was the important part. For
I mean,
Kruzza.
Deceptors must be bruised at this point. It was so close, wasn't it?
Oh, it was incredibly close, and this is the start of the comeback in game number 3. And it was down to Justice Robo. He picked up the pace. He was taking people out in the midfield, beating them to the ball, and getting these nets. That was maybe the goal of the of this series, with a really good pass between Kurto and Kruzza, the quick 1-2. But this is the Justice Robo special, just getting up before his opponents were to the ball, finishing it off. He started the day at 3 goals and 0 assists. Now he's on 10 goals, and I think it's something like 4 assists.
Yeah, wow.
In total. So he's really made a huge difference in this series. And Slurpee Monster, oh no. That was the Kruzza moment. We saw 2 own goals for Kruzza.
That's gotta
and he had
hurt.
such a good series up until that point.
You'd be beating yourself up about that.
Yeah, and it was a complete turnaround. Game number 4. It could like all of these games could have gone either way. It was another close one, and that was an important goal for change. Just hold on and put the angle across. And this is sort of what they started doing. Some good.
I mean, we really felt the hometown crowd get behind him as well at this point, which must make a difference.
I think actually some of it is only going to increase their nerves. They start feeling the pressure to play. They talked about that last week.
Damn, overtime again.
Yeah, and
Taking us
game
to
5.
Yeah.
This is, the pinnacle of overtimes. Both teams, when we got to that point, were so nervous. I was just saying, like, every single touch looked like a panic touch.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't quite string it together, but turns out Sydney Raw were able to hold on just enough, and there's the other own goal by Krauser, and this was in the crucial match. He's the one, and this is harsh to say, that threw away the series through one mistake, and that's all it takes in Rocket League. One big mistake, especially when you've got closely matched teams like this. And Bullet, good to see him finish it off. He was the nerve-wracked player, and he just came through, got it into the corner, got enough done, and it's his first time at LAN, so that is a great performance in a Game 5 overtime.
Yeah, huge feeling to win as well, have the winning goal for your team. Right now, it's time to find out who is the winner of our Astro MVP for that final match. Righto, Yummy, I have a pretty strong feeling based on the talk we've just had about how that played out, but who is your MVP?
Yeah, I think it comes down to experience in this one, and it went to Justice Robo. He was playing fast. He got so many of the goals just by beating out his competition and getting it past. Most importantly, he just seemed to be the most consistent at that end mark as well. In the midfield, beating people out. 7 goals across the series, 4 assists. Really great to see Justice Robo stepping up, because I actually thought he might have been the weakest player coming into this one, but he really proved that he can step up when it counts.
Really finding some form there. Congratulations, Justice Robo. You're the MVP for that match.